Hi, and welcome to episode 139 of the currently daily Google Cloud Platform Podcast. We're here on the show floor at Next, and as always, I'm here with Melanie. How you doing, Melanie?
Hi, Mark. We are almost there.
It's
day three. It's actually technically the day after day 3. It's the next day.
Yes. But some pretty amazing things.
Doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm still soldiering on.
You're pushing through.
Yeah, today was pretty amazing. Today was the developer keynote. A lot of our teammates were on stage. Yufeng, Aja, Aino, Kelsey. Just killing it. Killing it.
Showing all the things you can do as a developer.
Yeah, you should check out the keynote. It was really, really cool. They did some amazing stuff. A lot of live code.
Which is wonderful.
Yeah.
I know Adam was saying, let's show, not tell.
Yeah.
So, it was a good day. And we have a couple more interviews that we have done while we've been at Next that we're going to showcase now. So let's go ahead and do that.
Let's do it.
We have joining with us Stephanie Cueto and Vivian San, who are both here from Techtonica. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you for having us.
So tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're doing.
My name is Stephanie Cueto. I was born and raised in Southern California. I moved up here after college because I lived in the suburbs. I didn't really like it. It's not super exciting sometimes. And I only wanted to be independent and grow by myself. And so moved out here when I started college. After college, it was in the nonprofit sector for a little bit. And then code kept bugging me a little bit, and then it kept bugging me actually all my undergrad, and then after college too. And then I applied to a couple programs because I was like, oh, I like this, and so ended up applying to Techtonica, and now I'm here.
Nice.
Cool.
And Vivian?
My name is Vivian, and I'm a San Francisco native, and I grew up in the Tenderloin district, so it's pretty much part of the tech hub and everything. And I honestly have never even thought about going into tech. I was a chemistry graduate from UC Davis. And, of course, if I spent 4 years of college getting a degree, I'm going to, come out of it and be I'm totally going to be a chemist. There's no way. But, it's weird how I even came upon, being in tech, because it's something that I never even thought of or something that anyone even introduced to me. But it was weird because, the day that I came out, I actually saw a Techtonica flyer, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to give this a shot. If, I could do something as scary as that, then, I could do this.
And for those who don't know, what is Techtonica?
So Techtonica is basically a nonprofit organization that is providing free technical training to local women and non-binary adults, and basically just giving them the opportunity to learn these relevant tech skills, and without having to worry about the cost of it, and especially if they are mothers, they don't have to worry about childcare. Just giving them a safe place and work in a community to just learn.
And my understanding is you're both from the first class, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
And you
awesome.
just finished?
Yeah, last week.
Last week.
Yeah, everything's going so fast. Wow.
Yeah, I know.
It usually does. Are you in the process now of doing the whole preparing and looking for jobs?
So amazing thing that happened is that Techtonica was able to provide everyone a placement with a partner.
That's great.
Yeah, so we all have internships starting either next week on Monday or a couple of weeks after that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it looks like they provide tech apprenticeships. Can you tell us about what that looks like and what you actually end up doing when you're in the program?
I would say the first 3 months is just really just learning all about everything about JavaScript, learning it religiously. No, but really just the first 3 months is just learning the fundamentals really, and then the next 3 months is just doing all projects and just building off of what we learn and being able to apply it, working in groups and also working independently, so just getting a little bit of best of both worlds.
Nice. And I know there's also support, for people with low income, so they provide laptops, things like that as well?
Yeah, so they provide, if you need a laptop, they provide a laptop. If you need, some help financially, they also provide a living stipend for the apprentice.
Nice. And where are you starting? It's internships or where are you starting?
Internships. It's mixed panel. So
cool.
A bit of a competitor with Google Analytics.
We will accept that.
Yeah.
And I'm starting at Redfin, so they're a real estate company.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Well, this is great. So we're at Next.
Yeah.
And you've been here for 2 days. It's the third day as we speak. How has it been? What have you seen that you've been excited about?
I think this is literally the biggest conference we've ever been to, because we're only so used to just being in one building, but this is spread out between 5 different places, and it's pretty crazy. But it's just insane how much technologies are out there and how much they're releasing so quickly. It's also really overwhelming at the same time, but it's really exciting because especially now as we're developers, we know all these tools that are out there, and we know that we can take what we've learned from here and be able to tell our companies about it and be able to leverage our knowledge and being able to contribute. And I think that's really the most amazing thing is just being able to feel that way.
Yeah, and I think also just how welcoming it is too. I think sometimes we take for granted that we're in San Francisco and then we meet other people from other parts of the world and they're like, oh my gosh, they're like, they're taking pictures. And for, at least for me, like I kind of been to other conferences too, and this is probably one of the biggest ones where it combines a lot of people because it's like developers, marketing, sales, like all these like people that come from different backgrounds in tech. So it's pretty interesting to just see the mesh of it. But when we talk to them, we're like, oh my God, like you're from, like you live here. And I'm like, yeah, it's like, this is amazing. You're like around everything. And I'm like, yeah, it's really cool, So it's interesting just to meet other diverse people and just kind of get that other perspective, because sometimes I think we do take for granted that we're around here.
And I was asking you before we started that, were there any sessions that you went to that you were excited about? Are there any sessions that you wanted to mention that you saw and found very interesting?
Yeah, so I was talking about the I Am Remarkable workshop that's happening upstairs in the second floor in Moscone West. And it was just very like, I came in there just kind of like, oh, it sounds cool, like, let me see what it's all about. And then they came at you with stats. They're like, hey, like you're remarkable. So it's a workshop targeted towards women, but it's also for everyone. It's just kind of change your mindset of how you think about yourself, because with women specifically, they are more prone to be like put down by both men and women. So if they ever like are bragging about themselves when they say their accomplishments out loud, or if they speak up or anything like that, like they're more likely to be like, she's talking too much, or like she's like bragging about herself, or and then like, so you're getting hit not only from like the male side of it, but also your own like colleagues that are women, and it's like, and then on top of that, we also are more prone to talk bad about ourselves too. Like we don't want to like come off that way, so then we start putting our own selves up, like, oh, we shouldn't probably shine that much, and like just kind of put our accomplishments a little bit down. So they gave us a good like just background on it and just where these stats were coming from. And then after that, we did the actual workshop where they gave us a piece of paper where you write down like all the things that you're remarkable because of. So it was interesting just to see like how people get stumped and how people were also very positive about it. So they were able to like write the whole page down and just say, I'm remarkable because I'm a software engineer, I'm remarkable because I speak 2 languages or 3 languages or 4 languages, I'm remarkable because I volunteer on my spare time here, and like just all these things that come out that you don't really realize that you're doing and that you are remarkable because, and so some people were going really strong and some people were like stumped at one point because we just, I guess, we're prone to not, like they were saying, we're not prone to really think that way, and we need to change that, look in the mirror, be self-positive, talk to yourself and say like, you are remarkable, you're like, yeah, you're beautiful, you're positive, like, you're an amazing person, change that perspective a little bit or more. And so it was just amazing. I was almost able to write that whole page at the end, but kind of fell short. But it's okay. I'm going to try to do it. And it's a good thing to do, when you go to your teams and stuff like that. And even your friends, like make everyone change their perspective of how awesome they are.
Nice. Vivian, any sessions that stood out for you?
Yeah, I mean, that one for sure was one of them too. We also went to one where they were talking about like accessibility and inclusion. And I thought that was really awesome because it's like, you don't, especially when you're making docs or, making meetings, that's not something that you purposely try to do and not make it inclusive for all your employees, but it's just something that does happen. But it's like, I found it so amazing how there was so much detail that goes into it to try to like, make everyone feel safe and make everyone feel included. And I felt like, especially for us, it's like what we were told is like, when we come into this, we can learn all the technical knowledge that, people will, tell us, and we can learn online and stuff, but you can't really teach people perspective. And I think for us, especially coming in from like non-technical backgrounds and low-income families and communities, I think that showed us that we could contribute. And I felt like just because of that talk, it made me feel more comfortable going in and saying like, yes, I can make a contribution, that I can be a strength to this company. And I thought that was amazing just to hear them say that.
That's great.
Awesome. Have you played with any of like the showcase demos or anything else around here as well?
Not yet. Not yet. But we're going to today.
That's what's next for you.
Yeah. We've been going to like a lot of the talks and everything, like walking around. We haven't even gone to, I think there's a couple workshops that I want to go to today at the hotel. So I went to one in the Metreon in the theater, which was kind of interesting.
Oh, cool.
And then like there's some in the hotel, so it's like it's huge,
I know before we started too, we were talking about how you were surprised that there's so much that Google has in terms of products and services.
Yeah, I didn't know it was like an AWS, basically like Amazon. I was like, whoa, you can do everything that Amazon does too, like hosting websites, doing all these things. I was like, whoa, I didn't know all of this. And I was like amazed when I was hearing the keynote speakers speak about like all of these products that are coming out or like they're revamping and everything. I was like, whoa, I need to get on Google, more,
Good. Our job here is done. We can all go home.
We're done now. Last question I want to ask you both is, coming from this program, is there any advice that you have for those who are getting into tech?
So at the end of our last week, so Michelle, the CEO, she made us reflect and, write down like advice that you probably have for future apprentices, and I kind of thought about myself and I was like, what would I want to hear, in the beginning of this program to make it a little bit easier and everything like that. And so we did write down a couple of things. And one of those things to me was, or to the future ones, is like, hey, this is going to be tough. So make sure you do prepare, make sure you are strict with your schedule. You are going to have to really focus right now. You're going to have to be frugal too, because it's a long process. You're not working right now. And so make sure that you're very disciplined. One, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no to other activities like birthdays, all these festivities. They're going to be there still the next year. And so right now you need to focus on you. And that was the one main thing that I was like, it's okay to say no. And it's okay to focus on this, and you need to be a little bit selfish, you just need to focus on yourself right now.
That's great.
And I would say it's okay, to feel scared, because I went into it and I was so terrified. I was like, I don't know anything and I don't know what to expect, and everything was just so unknown. But I think I would just tell the future apprentices that, it's okay to feel scared. And I think just allowing yourself to feel vulnerable, and the fact that you do feel scared, I think that's actually a really good thing, because it's telling you that you're actually trying to push yourself to learn something new and trying to change your life. And I think that's okay. You feel scared, it might actually be a good thing, especially if there is more cohorts that are coming in. I would tell them that we need more women, we need more diversity, we need more inclusion, and by doing this, you are helping to, I guess, as Michelle would say, bridge the tech gap, essentially just being able to put more perspectives out there. And you are going to be someone who's going to be part of this community to change the world.
I think I would add on to
yeah, please.
You are we all became very close. We're very strong, and it's make sure you are all going through similar things. So reach out to one another, speak to one another. You're going to go through a lot, and so make sure you have that support system, because maybe your parents or anyone doesn't really know what you're going through right now. It's a different background, or maybe even friends, So you guys are all going to become very strong, and make sure you keep that together and rely on one another.
Find your community, build your community. And places like this too give you opportunity to expand that too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining us and sharing your experiences. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
It's pretty fun.
Super excited. We have two really amazing people coming to join us today. Liz, I don't remember your last name.
Fong-Jones.
Fong-Jones. I had it right in my head and I got it wrong. Nikhita
Raghunath.
Excellent. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us today.
Thank you for joining, yes.
Thank you for having us.
Granted, grabbed y'all off the floor and was like, please come on the podcast.
So you both do very different things, but Liz, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us about what you do and stuff?
Sure. So I am a customer reliability engineer, and I help GCP customers build and operate reliable services on GCP. So that involves anything from teaching them how to run incidents to teaching them how to monitor their services and how to architect their services better.
And we've done a podcast with you previously, too.
Yes, you have.
Yes, we have. Nikhita, what do you do?
So I work at Red Hat. I am a Kubernetes maintainer, and I work on all things extensibility of Kubernetes. And Mark knows a lot about it, I guess. And yeah, I like to do everything open source, basically.
Basically, the work that you do makes Agones possible, which is awesome.
And we like open source. And we have an episode coming out on Agones in a couple weeks. So, Nikhita, what are you enjoying about Next?
Oh, I love Next. So I was visiting the booths in the booth area, and the most interesting part was looking at how everyone is using Google Cloud. And the one thing I noticed is that almost all companies are using GCP or GK in very different ways. So I think it was pretty cool, going to all booths and figuring out how they're using it and understanding more about it.
And then, Liz, I know you just did a talk and you're finally free of the talk. How was your talk? What was your talk about?
So yesterday I got to share with everyone a bunch of early access Stackdriver features that enable people to do their operations more like SRE using Stackdriver tooling. So specifically, how do you improve your measurement? How do you improve your time to detect incidents? How do you improve your time to respond to incidents? Using really cool stuff that we're finally getting to talk about. So my favorite thing about Next has been getting to release all of this cool stuff and see how people react to it.
That's fantastic.
That's really cool. We talked a lot about open source, I think, pretty much all over the place. Nikhita, you've been involved with open source for a really long time. How did you end up there?
It's not been a really long time. It's like a year, I guess.
That's a long time.
Well, I just graduated. So I got involved through a program called the Google Summer of Code. So it's that Google pays students to work on open source projects during the summer. And I started contributing to Kubernetes that way. And well, I just contribute a lot right now. So that's my open source journey.
Nice. Liz, what's your experience with the open source world? What are your perspectives in terms of where things are at and what you're excited about?
I'm really excited that there is so much interesting work happening with Open Census, with Kubernetes, where we're starting to see a lot of the things that we've been doing inside of Google for a long time be accessible and interoperable with people outside of Google. That's been super awesome because it means that people don't have to reinvent the wheel over and over. They can just plug into things that people have already built, and that's really awesome.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I totally love open census. I want to contribute to it at some point. Maybe I'll get to it after next.
We also did a podcast on open census.
Oh, I'll check it out.
I'm sure you don't need it, but if you need introductions, I'm more than happy.
I do need introductions. I would definitely look at it.
That's really cool. And I know you work on the extension part of Kubernetes. What are some cool extensions that you've seen?
Oh, I think there's something called as Agonist. And I don't know what, I think it's also covered on the GCP podcast. So
It is a bit.
Yeah, so you should definitely check it out.
Yeah, anything else other than stuff I work on?
I think like operators are really the kind of exciting bit related to extensibility of the Kubernetes API. And I think there are like lots of operators out there. So I think I would definitely say like the operator bit.
I love how we're plugging all the things. And let me also bring this back. It's quite an interesting intermix of discussion. But Liz, I know we had you on, like we said, with Seth, and we talked about SREs and DevOps. And my understanding is you guys just had another episode that came out in terms of the video series that you're working on. Is that right?
We have a new set of 5 episodes coming out in late August.
So you have one coming.
We recorded them last week.
I saw some announcement. I thought it had already come, but apparently not yet. So it's coming out in August, in late August.
Late August.
Nice. And any specific highlights that you can mention now?
Yeah, we have a really packed agenda. We're talking about things like how do you respond to incidents, or how do you set up your alerting so that you can actually reasonably defend your service level objectives rather than finding out like, hey, we broke it, but we didn't find out until it was too late.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, I know you both have to go. You both have meetings. Before you go, favorite thing you've seen at Next so far?
Agonist.
Aww.
No, it was really cool. I loved your talk. It was funny, so I like that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Liz, favorite thing?
I have to say the thing from this morning of the mini TPUs, the edge TPUs, that was really exciting to see that, these chips of silicon that Google's manufacturing will be in a whole bunch of devices.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for coming and taking some time to chat with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
I just came for the chocolate.
Yeah.
Yes, we have chocolate. Please have chocolate.
Please take the chocolate. Fantastic. So it's great that Robert Kubis is joining us. He is a fellow developer advocate and alumni podcast attendee, I think we can
for a week, I think.
Yeah.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
You've been pretty busy here at Next. What have you been up to?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me again, after a week at the podcast.
You were that good.
Yeah.
Needed to get you back.
Maybe. Yeah, it has been really exciting. So I think what is maybe sometimes not seen, that there's a lot of work that goes in by the DA team or general, a lot of Google teams into making this conference a reality. So I was involved personally in building some of the showcases. So in particular, 2 of the showcases that I was involved in. The Cloud Spanner booth or showcase, I was involved in the creatives as well as building part of the demos, and for the storage and database one as well. And it's actually a lot of work. You can't imagine.
How many months of work
it's
has
the
it
cloud,
been?
though. Don't you just push a button and make it work?
Seriously,
isn't it?
right?
It's not
Everything,
I just assume that's all you need.
You just push a button.
Just push a button and it
There's
makes
no
software
code.
happen.
No code.
So that's actually a funny thing. I think it's not the majority of work is not actually the coding or the technical part of this. The majority of the work is actually getting the messaging right. We want to have that the attendee has a good experience, that they understand what we want to achieve with the showcase, that they get an intrinsic experience into the showcase. And creating this kind of narrative is most of the work, I would have to say, and fine-tuning it and then getting it into reality is the heavy lifting for creating a showcase.
So tell us about the showcases you had a hand in. Tell us what those were all about.
So the first one is the Cloud Spanner showcase, where we have kind of like two substations in that showcase. So one of them is what we call the Cloud Spanner Kaleidoscope, which is a really cool looking kind of installation with some mirrors and a display and some buttons and handles and wrenches, which is in British English it's actually spanner is a wrench in US. I mean, what we wanted to show there is the aspect of manageability in Cloud Spanner, that it's very easy to get your own instance and scaling it in and out. And we wanted to show you that it's done in 4 clicks, and you basically choose a name, you choose what configuration you want to have, you want to choose how many nodes you want to have, and then you click OK and you have your own instance. So very easy. So the substation 2 is where I actually show how easily and how quickly Cloud Spanner is scaling in and out. So I have a demo where you can produce some throughput, some reads and writes against Cloud Spanner. And then you can scale it in and out, so you can scale the nodes, and you see how quickly Spanner is load balancing and your latencies go down again and things like that. It's a really cool thing. I encourage everybody to check it out.
Cool. Well, so what have you seen at Next outside of what you've been working on that you're really excited about?
So there's unfortunately not a lot of things. I also had 2 talks that I had to prepare off, and
easy peasy, right? You just got it all done very quickly.
It's a showcase and 2 talks. I mean, whatever.
No
it's fine.
Exactly. So the thing is, maybe I guess there are a lot of people like me in the sense, but most people maybe not seeing that from the outside. But I'm a notoriously procrastinator. So I'm probably the best in my life in procrastinating till the deadline is looming. So I'm usually the one who is late with slides and preparing till like late hours and stuff like that.
No one does that.
Yeah, exactly. No one is doing that. So I've been pretty much involved in like preparing for my talks to deliver a good experience also to the attendees. They are coming here to get some information and to get the best out of the session. So I want to give them the best of me. So I invested a lot of time into perfecting my talks and really have a good experience for the attendees. I got to walk a little bit around the showcase floor in Moscone West today, and one experience which I really liked was the Cloud Function experience, where you have a big cannon and you can shoot your Cloud Function into the cloud, which is amazing. So I encourage everybody also to check out the Cloud Functions showcase in Moscone West.
Actually, it's worth noting, right? You just talked about like how much time and effort goes into the showcases, how much time and effort goes into your presentations, but that's one showcase and one we have over 500, 400 presentations, and how many showcases on the show floor?
I don't know, 60, 70, 80, I don't know. It's a lot.
Yeah, so that's a lot of effort, is kind of my point.
Yes.
To put on a show this size that's spanning, 6 buildings?
Yeah.
And how many attendees? I heard it's
20
or 25,000?
Yeah, something around that, yeah.
And how does this compare to last year?
It is actually, so I've been with Cloud, in particular with Google Cloud, for 3 years and 4 months now, and I've experienced, I think this is my 4th Next.
Wow.
And it has been a tremendous growth. I think last year we were around 7,000 to 10,000. I don't know the exact number. The year before that was 2,000.
Yeah.
So it basically tripled, almost quadrupled in size, and now it doubled its size again. But it's just crazy. It outgrew I/O this year. It has been the biggest, largest conference for Google so far. And what I've seen, it's amazing so far. It's really cool.
This is my 3rd Next, and I mean, this is the biggest, but I actually genuinely believe this is the best Next.
And I know you did the podcast last year.
Yeah.
Did you do it the year before that, too? Wow.
Yeah, we've been doing the podcast on the show floor for,
It's the 3rd year now, right?
Yeah.
3rd year. Yes.
Yeah, we didn't know what we were getting into in that first year, but still, here we are.
Here we are.
It's wonderful.
Well, Rob, anything else you wanted to share with the folks back home around Next, around things they should look for?
I hope everybody enjoys their experience here. Please reach out to us and the podcast team if you have any question. Also, we love to hear positive and critical feedback. So if there is anything where you think where we can improve, please let us know. But also show us the love, basically, where we do well. We want to hear that. We need that as well to basically find the energy to do even better next for you next year. And follow me on Twitter at Hostirosti.
Are you speaking anywhere anytime soon outside of Next?
So I think I'd take a break for a while.
That seems reasonable.
That seems acceptable.
Awesome. Robert,
cool.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Cheers.
Thanks again for everybody who came out for today, as well as everyone who's come for the last 2 days. We've really appreciated being able to talk to different, partners and students and
alliance people.
Some
all
of
the
our
relationships.
own colleagues,
Yeah.
just getting a sense of the perspectives and the interests and what everybody's been experiencing. We appreciate that. I also want to just take a second and say this, because this is my first Next for the podcast. And I know, Mark, we were talking about it before offline, that this is your third one.
Yep.
Yeah, so you and Francis did this last year and the year before, and so this is like old hat for you.
Yeah,
but
totally.
I was going to say, one of the things that I've observed that has been really impressive is just how many people have come by, and I'm really grateful for that, for the listeners who've stopped by to say thank you. So thank you for saying thank you, because that means a lot to hear that this has been very helpful for you. And I also want to give a shout out to James, who's been with us for a while, who's been helping to edit this podcast,
my God,
who's been incredible, especially with what we've been doing for this week.
Yes.
And more recently, Jennifer and Trey, who have been also incredible. So we're not just doing this by ourselves.
Absolutely
we have
not.
a couple of other people who have been phenomenal in making sure that this actually is getting done.
Yeah, they've been killing it. Doing daily episodes is super hard work, and setting all up the interviews and everything we've been doing at Next. It's been like nonstop while we've been here, but we couldn't have done it without the support of all the people behind us. So thanks. Yeah,
Thank
big
you
thanks to them.
very, very much. And then, Mark, thanks for making this so easy. This has been fantastic, and bringing me along for the ride. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for joining me. This has been an absolute delight and a pleasure.
Yeah. I think that's a wrap for us for Next.
Yep.
And we will have another episode, like always, next week.
Yep.
You will get to hear about container security, to give that a little tee up. But outside of that, Mark, you going anywhere? You going to do anything?
Sleep.
Yeah.
I'm going to sleep.
Sleeping is good.
Yeah.
I know. We need to recover.
You too?
Yeah, I definitely need to recover.
Fantastic. No, it's been a great event. Thank you all for listening. And we'll actually see you all next week.
We'll see you next week.